go to some more super chats. I want to ask you all, like Bruno Fernandes is trending, and I understand why. I personally thought it was a shocker from him today, and I think it was Phil that brought it up. You know, a few minutes to go, you get a corner, hold on to possession, bring it to the corner. It goes for glory. They have two genuine chances from that point to score. But there's so many moments today where he made the wrong decision, the bad pass. He had the opportunity to score. We need better leadership on the pitch than what we saw today. Surely, gents.
Yeah, I
want to hear from Neji. I really, because Neji's made certain comments. I want to hear from you, Neji. I don't know if you want me to.
I know what you're talking about, right?
I thought you had an underwhelming performance today. Personally, I mean, like I said, I'm not one. I grew up the same year as most of you lot. I saw and I see this every time. I saw Ronaldinho make misplaced passes. It never got on my nerves. I seen Guti. Let me finish, because you're gonna get triggered off the name and miss the message.
And also to add some context, people, I want to add to explain why he basically compared Bruno to KDB and said that Bruno, he thinks KDB. So go on, Nate. Let me add the context.
It's irrelevant. All I'm saying to you is
relevant. It's definitely relevant.
It used to carry on.
Sorry, go ahead.
All I'm saying to you is, to me, I don't get triggered off misplaced passes. I just don't, never have. Because for me, creative players are meant to do that. So that's ingrained into me. So I don't look at it and go, oh my God, bad place pass. I look at, was the option on and was it the right decision? Whether you make it or not, cool, safe. But to me, if an option's on, then you make it. About 3 or 4 passes today, I was like, mate, what are you doing? Cool. But then on the other hand, I saw the intricate passes, the link-up play. Even towards the end when Rashford played through, was it Garnacho, to could have squared it across to McTominay, all those small intricate passes happened as well. So it was an overall, I think he's had a 6 out of 10 game. I think when he's sitting back a lot more, in my opinion, again, defensively, I thought did his job again. Never gets spoken about because it's not highlighted. It's not important. But for me, as an overall game, 6 out of 10 today, which was underwhelming. What he did in the corner was absolutely shocking. I've literally screaming, hold the ball, and he goes and takes a shot. What are you doing? And I could have called them all names under the sun. Don't get me wrong. I've got no issue criticising the man, but I'm just looking at the overall game. I think because we've got it installed in our heads that there's only certain features and factors that you look at in a player, that's all we focus on. Me personally, I'll never make those judgments or based off small little ideals. I look at the whole entire thing, the whole entire game. Today, I had a 6 out of 10. I didn't think he was world class, didn't think he was great, but I'm not going to sit here and act like he was a 1 out of 10 because he did a lot of things right in that game at the same time, even when we broke on the counter. And I think when you play Luton, you can go look at many Luton games at home. Only way to score past them is based on counter because the way they press and the way they build up, their back three is immense in terms of keeping the ball. It's difficult to do that. And we broke the lines many a time. Bruno was involved in most of them. So on the cusp of balance, I think 6 out of 10 ain't a bad game. But like I said, people have got this conceived idea that he ain't good enough and we should only focus on all the shit that he's done. I'm just looking at the overall game going, not amazing, but today, 6 out of 10, I'm cool with that.
Neji, do you want an upgrade in that position, though? Because if Newcastle had a player that was doing these 6 out of 10s all the time, Longstaff, essentially. Sean Longstaff, let's just say, because I think he's a very average player. I know Bruno has some exceptional moments here and there, and the misplaced pass, I get that. But is there a difference between a misplaced pass and a bad pass and an underperforming player versus a player that you want to upgrade on? A Xavi Simons. A Xavi Simons, for me, is an upgrade.
So here's the thing. These types of players have been said to me many a times, and I think this is just my observation.
Yeah.
I think we value aesthetically pleasing players who look better on the ball. I've always said Bruno Fernandes is an ugly footballer. So when he makes a bad pass, it looks horrible. Absolutely horrible. But when I start with and I bring this up every single time, this is not to bear in mind, just to plant the seed. I'm not comparing KDB with this statement. But when KDB was losing the ball 24/7 and he had the most losses in the Premier League, it was never mentioned at all. Not to the same level. And I had to ask my question and go, well, why is that? I think that's a fair question to ask. And again, it's because he's technically looking like he knows what he's trying to do, even if he messes up. So when you've got aesthetically pleasing ballers, when you've got players who are technically looking better, I think Bruno isn't a very good technician. And I think that's where he gets misconceived. But I think he's got the intelligence and he's got the ability to be able to pull off the passes. And the stats don't lie about that. And that's regardless of what system he's in, what profiles he's got around him. He's been the only player in Manchester United since we brought him in. He's been able to be consistent in what he does. Now, does he have areas of his game that he needs to improve? Of course. Is he an ugly footballer? Of course. But when I'm looking at his overall game, I think you need to buy 2 players to replace what he does, because defensively, there's no way KDB comes into this Man United team and you can tell me he can positionally hold himself defensively, win the ball back the amount of times he does, put that work rate in, which has a massive benefit in terms of how we score goals and get the ball winning higher up the pitch. All these factors are important to me personally. So I will never sit here and just highlight only part of his game and make that judgment of his whole game.
Isn't that, don't you think people highlight? Oh, sorry, Rhino. Go on.
Yeah, go on, Rhino.
Neji, listen, look, I fully understand where you're coming from, yeah? And I used to think like this before. I was supporting Bruno the same way I was supporting Ten Hag to a point, and then I stopped. Look, I think if you use the factor of overall game, that flaws your point, because KDB's overall game is better. If you want to pick, I think you are actually highlighting individual things by saying Bruno can defend. Because as a 10, what do you care about? It's like Anthony. Anthony can defend as well.
He's not playing as a 10.
No, I'm just trying to say. No, but I'm just saying Bruno's best attributes is when he's playing higher up the pitch. Yeah. So if we compare 2 players, that's the attributes we're going to compare.
So from a creative standpoint, then he's doing well. He's done well.
But as a forward-thinking player, as a player that you need the captain as well, somebody that you rely to be the engine of the team. His overall game is not good enough. It's not good enough. I feel like KDB.
So what is it you say about the 10? What is it a 10 needs to do as an overall that Bruno isn't doing?
And even just to add on to what you said about aesthetically pleasing, Varane's not aesthetically pleasing, but he's still a good defender. He still passes the ball very well. So I don't judge people. No, but I feel like overall, if you look at the way the success rate to the waist weight is night and day.
That's what I'm trying to say. The success rate is proven by numbers and facts. So what I see with the eyes can be proven with the numbers on the pitch, and that's regardless of overall season. So what I'm saying, there is a misconception that he isn't doing his job, and I want to understand why that misconception is there. Because if I can see something with my eyes and I can prove it statistically, then is my judgment off, or is somebody else's judgment off? And until someone can show me that, I'm open to seeing it, but I ain't seen it yet.
I just think y'all can do better. That's all it is.
Don't get me wrong.
Do you know what it is for me?
If you want to sit
composure.
Here and say,
I think it's composure. Like if you look at people like, if you look at Manu and you look at Højlund, they have a sense of composure. And I feel like somebody that's the captain of the team, running in the middle of the pitch, you need to compose your team. You need to be able to read. You can't play against Man City, Luton, Brighton, and let's say Brentford the same way. I feel like. Wait, let me finish. I feel like Bruno doesn't read the game and identify the tempo. He doesn't have any gears. He doesn't develop. He plays in one gear every single game, no matter what team, no matter what.
I think that's such a late statement when you look at that. When you look at what again, we saw the game against Aston Villa, and everyone. And I put the tweet out. And I said to them, I said, okay, Bruno, keep the ball simple. Keeps it simple. Oh, Bruno went missing. I said, wait there. Are you watching this? The amount of times he had the opportunity to hoof the ball. He's looked left and right and played a simple ball. People have the misconception in there. Well, not misconception. They have this idea that they've stuck with, and every time they see him do it, that's what they're going to pinpoint. They're not looking for him to improve on the things.
All right, let me ask you one question,
Wait there.
I'm going to ask you one question.
So when he actually keeps it simple, it's, he's gone missing. When he actually sprays the ball left and right, even today in the midfield on the counter-attack, he was surrounded by 2 or 3 men. Literally held up the ball, looked for a pass, didn't make that pass, played it through the guy's legs, kept it simple, recycled the ball. Those are the things people wanted to see, but they aren't ready to give the credit when it happens. Why? Because they've got this idea that that's all he ever does, and if they give him credit to that, then they look stupid because they're like, "Raw, he's improved." I'll give you a fair example, Rhino. I've criticized Maguire how many times? Hella times. But when he proves me wrong, I'll sit there. You'll see my tweets and go, "Fair play, Maguire," because I want him to see the improvements. And if he improves, it improves my team. Because it's not based off bias. I'm not trying to, like Terrace, I'm not trying to be right. I just want to see these players.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Can I ask you a question? Okay, let me ask you this question. You identified his defensive attributes, and you said he's very good defensively. Have you noticed? Have you seen how many free kicks? There was a game where he conceded free kicks that we actually conceded goals from. That you can't do that as our captain. That's very. Yeah, that's detrimental, and I feel like it's crucial moments like that where, as a captain of this team, you can't do things like that.
Well, and I appreciate that. I think this argument will be to you. I'd say, why is a man running 70 yards to make that tackle at the edge of the box? Where are the other players there? I'd ask you that question.
Just in the interest of time, guys, I want to say that for me, before we just do the rest of these super chats, I think Bruno is now suffering like a lot of players have suffered in the last decade, though. I don't necessarily know if he would have been a Ten Hag signing if Ten Hag had a complete blank canvas and he was going to sign people. For me, Bruno, when he's playing off the striker, that is when he's at his absolute best. It's where he played under Oli. He hasn't, Bruno hasn't been as good for Man United since Ronaldo joined, and then he was dropped that little bit deeper. And then under this system, he still had good games and good moments. But this is like a lot of people. You have to use them at what they're best at. What we've done at Man United is, if we had KDB, we'd have tried to turn him into a DM. And this is the kind of stuff we do all the time at Man United. We just don't. We find someone who's very good at a particular thing, and instead of making them amazing at it, we try and turn them into a Swiss Army knife where they're capable of doing multiple things. And that's why I'm at a point with Bruno where I think unless the new manager looks at it and says, I want to play you off the striker and then have a really controlled midfield and even inside forwards. I think we need to have inside forwards that are more controlled and not always looking to shoot. Then I think we'll get the best out of Bruno again. But when you've got 3 or 4 players that are like Bruno, and I think Rashford's like a Bruno in terms of an attacker. He gets the ball, he cuts in, he wants to shoot. Garnacho is very, very similar. You suddenly have 3 of them in your team, and I think it becomes there's no balance. It becomes a problem. But viewers, let us know what you think about Bruno's performance today in the comment sections below. This here says chance to go level with Spurs next weekend, and they don't play either. This is true. They miss a week because of the Carabao Cup final. So a chance to. How many points are we behind them? Actually, is it 3?
I think 3 points now. Yeah.
I think you
3
guys
points. So listen, pull them at home, win the game, go level on points, put a bit of pressure on them. It's good. I like to see it. I will say that I see a lot of United fans going, I don't want to be in the Champions League because we've got no chance of winning it. We have no idea if we've got a chance of winning it next year. Like when we know what we've got going on at our club, that we could have a new manager, new players, new investment, to not want to be in the Champions League next year, I find it strange. But there we go. I will say this: United fans that used to big
argument
stick as the stick to beat.
Oh, Big Ange, the Big Ange stick.
The Big Ange stick to beat Ten Hag with. What are you going to say if he ends up finishes above him for top 4? That's a good challenge. I think that I think for me, people would look at it and say, well, the 450 odd million pound that he spent, that he's been at the club longer, he has more experience at the highest level, and there hasn't been any real consistency in our play yet. I think that's what people will say. But equally, as I think Big Ange has done a good job, but I do think the media have overblown it. Remember, the media did a headline in October saying he is the new Sir Alex Ferguson. So big British paper said he's the new Sir Alex, and he's fit, and he stopped Spurs being Spursy. Far too premature. I think he means here delusional. Ten Hag playing with Ollie's squad and getting results. Our club structure is broken, and Jim is changing that. Luton is a tough place to play. Thank you, Olu. I appreciate that super chat a lot. D-Town here says, I hate to admit it as a Liverpool fan, but Mainu is definitely a gem. If I was a Man United fan, I would still get an experienced player in for him and Højlund, so you don't end up with the Rashford burnout. Yeah, I agree. We still got, and if they're good enough, they'll keep getting better, won't they? If they're not, then as long as we're better. Bruno needs 2 games rest. He's burnt out.
That's never been a problem for Bruno. He can play.
No, he got his 24. His kilometers are mad, but he's still
the guy
game in, game out.
Energy.
I actually when it comes to Bruno, I agree with everything Neji said. Like I just think it's he's such a nuanced player.
You think you could do better though? You think you can find a better player in that team, right? I just think that's all I'm asking.
I just think with a player that's done what he's done, and I think with the chopping and changes of managers and styles, like Terry said, it's like at some point he may not look like he fits in a team. And I just think at this point, for me, the Bruno argument should just next season, when we have the structure and the people who we trust to come in, if they look at Bruno and they say, you are not the right guy, he's going to go. If there's one thing they have shown, if there's one thing that this new regime has shown so quickly, and this is the one thing all Man United fans were worried about, how quickly are they going to make the changes needed? Well, guess what? That back room, gone instantly. They're already talking about the new stadium. So if all these things, all that follow through actually happens, which, I mean, Terry outlined on a show a few weeks ago that the structure that's in place on how he bought the club, it does mean he has the power to do these things, because everybody's like, oh, the Glazers this, and they're still going to be in the way.
He has the power. You can tell already. You can tell already they've got the power.
Exactly. So we know he'll move on guys like Bruno or Erik ten Hag or whoever if he's come in with his team and said they're not right. So that's when we make the decision. I think that's when.
The thing is with Bruno though, I think we need to remember that he's been consistent over the last since we've signed him. He's got an average of 18 goals or assists throughout in each season. Obviously, with his peak being 30 goals and assists in his second season, but he's bringing it regularly, and I know he's making misplaced passes, and it's so frustrating. In that corner situation we've already spoke about, he does make bad decisions. But when you think over the last 3 seasons, he's created the most chances. So you go, okay, if those chances are put away, then let's just say, for example, Haaland or Højlund as he is now, would we then be looking at Bruno going, wow, he's amazing. He's just by far the best. He's not only creating the chances, we're taking them, we're scoring all these goals. We're creating chances, he's not taking them. So he's not getting the plaudits he should do for that.
Do you know what it is though, quickly?
He makes a lot of misplaced passes. Part of the reason you make misplaced passes is because you're trying something. But you can see, somebody said a minute ago he's burnt out. I think part of him is because he's covering so many blades of grass on the pitch. And is that a weakness? Or is it a weakness in him because he just feels he's got to get everywhere to not let the team down? Or is it because the team isn't strong enough for each individual position? If you believe in your back four, then you can believe in your 2 in front, and then you can start to play your own position, sort of thing. But is Bruno trying to cover too much grass, just trying to cover everyone else's mistakes? And it was his mistake, that corner, absolutely.
It very much could be. Charlie here with it, super chat says Terry would like Bruno to play higher up, but complains he didn't assist Casemiro in the midfield today. Well, firstly, as I stated, I'd like Bruno to be further up the pitch with a more controlled midfield behind. We don't have that controlled midfield behind, so I understand it's not possible. Secondly, even with that controlled midfield, if Bruno is our captain and he's also a midfielder, if we are being overrun in the midfield, I would still expect him to go, well, I know I'm not meant to be there per se, but I'm going to drop a little bit deeper to plug holes. I don't think... I understand your challenge and I appreciate the super chat a lot, but it doesn't negate what I'm talking about. Sometimes in game, players need to make decisions because they're out there on the pitch. They see the holes, they see the problems, and especially as captain, I would expect them to either move themselves or, like I said, instruct Mainu. Look, you've got to get 10 yards deeper or 10 yards more to the right. There's a hole there. You need a little bit of that from your leaders on the pitch, in my opinion, Charlie. But thank you for the super chat, Mike G.